ranging from regional and international leaders. Right now, though, I want us to cross over to the Nyayo National Stadium to connect to one of our reporters there, Daniel Kariuki, to bring us an update and give us much more of what he has been able to witness. Daniel, if you can hear me, please just give us an update on the events there at the Nyayo National Stadium.
Hi, thank you very much. And you've just been breaking down some of the issues that President William Ruto has highlighted in this speech, in his speech of the 62nd Jamhuri Day celebrations here at the Nyayo Stadium. And I want to break them down with my colleague, Grace Nganga, whom we have been following these proceedings here at Nyayo Stadium with my colleague Grace Nganga, so that at least we can give you a bit of what he has talked about. Him giving a 5 trillion ambitious projects that he intends to use to take Kenya from the third world to the first world. He has talked about various projects, infrastructural projects that are going to turn Kenya from the third world to the first world, and he has used the example of Singapore to give the illustrations of how Kenya can move from the third world to first world. And I want to engage my colleague Grace Nganga in this conversation, so that at least we can have and know exactly some of the details that President William Ruto has actually given to talk about the infrastructure. Grace Nganga, thank you very much. Of course, we've been following these proceedings, the speech by President William Ruto, and he has talked about so many things. Could I call them promises, maybe?
They are promises, but even before we head to the promises, I think everyone was expectant that the president will stick to the theme, which was tourism. So in his speech, I was expecting to get numbers of the maybe increase in numbers of tourism. I was also expecting to get some projections of where we are heading. Remember, in his address last year, he had said that they had actually let go of visa entries into the country. So I was expecting, in the beat of the thematic of the day, which is on matters tourism, I was expecting those numbers from that end, but that did not happen. It was just our normal president who took this opportunity to highlight the scorecard of his 3-year term. And per usual, he spoke about many things, amongst them the housing. The housing has been his blueprint. Karaoke. Almost all addresses the president has to speak about that particular blueprint, the housing. He's talking about how people are benefiting from this particular program. He also spoke about SHA. He also spoke about the education sector. And he was basically trying to tell his critics that he has worked, and he has proved that he has worked. But Karaoke, from my end, what I can say is that I missed the tourism bit. The thematic, which is that the tourism bit from the president's address. I don't know what about you.
Of course, he has talked. You've put it right, Grace, that he has talked about the education system and talked about employing more than 100,000 teachers in the last 3 years that he has been at the helm. And of course, coming at the backdrop of the just released results of the KJ SEA that were released by the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Migos, on Thursday. But again, he has talked about infrastructural development.
Nairobi, to be precise, Nairobi has been promised so many goodies, all the way from Thika to Kiserian. He has promised infrastructural developments next year. He's also promised this particular stadium that we are in is going to be revamped, it's going to be renovated. So in the infrastructure, he has promised a lot of goodies to the residents of Nairobi.
The residents of Nairobi. And again, something else also I've heard him talk about, and we are going to be looking forward to that, is the expansion, or rather the expansion of the expressway from Nairobi to Thika. Of course, he talks of traffic snarl-ups along Thika Road. That we are going to be look forward to, because you remember well the expressway from Nairobi to Mlolongo was was under construction during the former President Uhuru Kenyatta's tenure. President William Ruto was on the other side. and his allies were criticizing the expressway really much. And right now he's talking of expressway from Nairobi to Thika. I think that will be also interesting to see maybe why they have decided maybe to have that.
Remember, they've also promised to expand it all the way to Kisumu, and they've also promised to expand it all the way from
expand the SGR,
yes,
SGR from Naivasha.
Expanded all the way to Kisumu and Malava. So the president, if you asked me, I think now he's mainly keen on infrastructure, as I said, from Nairobi and also to other parts of the country. He's promised so much deep infrastructure moving into. He's also promised there will be a cabinet meeting on Monday where they're going to propose and adapt some of the proposals that he has just mentioned here.
Right, of course, about the 5 trillion, the ambitious infrastructural projects that we are going to be having. Grace, of course, we are with our colleagues here. We are having Ali Manzu, and we are also having Jeff Kirui, who are going, or rather, I believe they were also following the speech by the president, and they were keen on details of some of the issues that the president talked about. And before I hand it over to Manzu and Kirui, the governor, the deputy president, and the governor, they also talked of something to do with tourism and said it is not a must that a tourist should be from out of the country.
Yes.
Have you visited the Giraffe Center?
I know why you're asking me that question. It's because I said I would ask you that specific question. Have you been to the Nairobi Park?
I have been to many places. The other day I was in Ugunja, I was in Homa Bay. You are still here in Nairobi.
When I was in Siaya.
Anyway, Jeff Kirui and my colleague Ali Manzu on the other side, maybe we can hear what they have for us.
Well, indeed, Daniel Karuki